Hey, hey, my precious moon chaotic. Fuck it. And my little chaotic moon pups. I was trying to find some spoopy music, but sadly, none would suffice due to copyright once I posted it on YouTube, because YouTube is picky as fuck, and I couldn't find any just music, no singing. So I'm going to be doing some spoopy stories because I don't give a fuck what anyone says. It's September, and that's the beginning of spoopy season. Okay? Okay. I'm going to be reading some real scary stories from Reddit because they always have some really good ones. Okay, the first one is The Intruder in My Backyard, and it was posted 22 hours ago by Captain K8612. A little to know about the layout of my house before I begin this story. The living room of my house was located behind the front door. To the far right was a big window that peered outside. My mom didn't like having blinds block up her windows, so the far window to the right had absolutely no blinds or curtains, meaning that during the night, excuse me, meaning that during the night I couldn't see through the window. However, someone on the other side of it could see straight through. The first run in with this intruder happened a couple years ago when my sisters were watching anime late in the night. Midway through, one of them falls asleep while the other stays awake. When she was watching her show, suddenly the far right window began to bang aggressively. Not a tap or just one bang, but instead a barrage of loud banging. She immediately covered herself with a blanket, and after a solid minute, it stopped. She went on to later tell me this story in great detail, and it always sat with me. Fast forward a couple years later, when at the time I was 12 years old. Me and my sister, different sister than the one I previously mentioned, were hanging out in the living room when I had to use the restroom. When I get out, my sister is frantically trying to tell me that she thinks someone is outside. Now, not knowing this at the previous event that happened, I was really terrified. She says she thinks she saw a dude outside and heard noises coming from that area too. Additionally, our dog that we got a couple months prior seems to be getting very worked up and wouldn't stop growling and barking to where this intruder was. I summoned every ounce of my courage to run outside, grab my dog, and quickly run back inside with her. She still was getting super worked up, but after 5 minutes she calmed down. I suppose the intruder left after that moment. Shortly after she calmed down, I went to my mom and woke her up to tell her about this. She said it was nothing and told me to go to bed. Shortly after this whole incident, me and my sister went straight to bed, but to this day I still remember how scared I was and if this intruder really meant harm to us. Hmm. So that's the first one. Let's try to find more, shall we? This one's kind of a short one. This one is called Sound in the Shower. It was posted 3 days ago by Nefariousness Free 315. I was in the shower and music playing. The music was really loud, and then the noise from the water was also loud. I was almost done with my shower when I heard a really loud noise. It sounded like the bathroom door was just ripped open without turning the knob, but it was right in my ear. It was so loud. I thought someone came into the bathroom, so I just stood in the shower silently for a bit, with the water still running. After about 10 seconds, nothing happened, so I quickly finished my shower and got out. I looked at the door, but it was shut. I got out and woke my younger brother up to ask if he ripped open the bathroom door, and he said no because he was asleep. While I was getting dressed, I got a Life 360 notification that my brother and his girlfriend just got home, meaning it couldn't have been them. This is the second time I've heard a door slam open and nobody did it. The first time was the front door when nobody else was home. I have no clue what happened, but it kind of spooked me. Sorry about that. Um, Probably wouldn't surprise me. Okay. This one is quite of a bit of a long one. This one is called I Recently Took a Babysitting Job and I Wish I Didn't by Dark Killer Diamond. Or No Sleep, I should say. I recently took a babysitting job I wish I didn't. I am currently doing an online college mostly because I am not a people person. It's pretty easy staying home and doing my schoolwork online. Even though it's cheaper doing it online, I still try to make money. I usually will babysit for people for $10 an hour, and I've made over $140 doing it. My dad told me a man he works with is taking his wife on a date Saturday night. He needs someone to babysit their son while they're out. My dad gave me the address, and Saturday night I would be watching this couple's son. When Saturday came, I drove to the couple's house, and when I got there, I saw they had a big house. I went up to the door and knocked on their door, and the door quickly opened. I saw a man standing there who looked to be in his late 40s, dressed up like he was going to the ball. "Hello, you must be Frank's daughter." He gave off a creepy smile before inviting me in. The house looked even bigger from the inside. "Our son Tommy is in his room. We made him dinner. You have to bring it to his room, though." Just then his wife came downstairs. She was old but tried to look young. He took his wife's hand and quickly tried to get her out the door. "Well, be back by 9:30. He then slammed the door shut and they drove off. Confused by what they Confused by why they tried to leave so fast, I decided to sit on their big couch and text my friend. Eventually, I heard their son calling out for me, so I went upstairs. When I got to the door, I knocked on it, asking what he needs. "I'm hungry." I went downstairs to get his food, and when I opened the fridge, and a horrible smell blasted in my face. I looked and saw a bunch of flies and raw and bloody food. There were raw pork chops and what I hoped to be with his name on it. So I brought it to him trying not to puke from the smell. I knocked on the door telling him I had his food and it slightly opened and a hand grabbed it. The door slammed shut and I heard him eating it on the other side, and at that point I wanted to leave. I sat on the couch and texted my friend about what just happened, and she didn't believe me. I don't know when, but I eventually fell asleep on the couch. I woke to a slamming noise. I thought it was the sun, so I went upstairs and saw the door open. I saw a bunch of plates lying on his floor with flies everywhere. I went back downstairs and heard noises coming from the kitchen. When I peeked in, I almost screamed. There was someone who was 8 feet tall eating raw, bloody meat. I tried to leave, but I bumped into a vase that fell over and shattered. He looked at me and yelled, "Me was hungry and you didn't give me food." I realized this was the couple's son. He started drooling and said, "Me eat you." I tried to run, but his long arm grabbed me and wouldn't let go. So I grabbed a piece of broken vase and stabbed his arm. He let go of me and screamed, but I got the fuck out of there. I ran to the neighbor's house and called the cops. The cops eventually arrived, and when they went in, but did not, but didn't no one, this is so scattered, but no one was in there. They noticed the back door was open. I told them about the parents, but they couldn't get a hold of them and haven't found them yet. To this day, I haven't babysat for anyone, and I'm scared of leaving the house because I fear running to that 8-foot giant. Mm, this one's another short one. It's called I Had a Weird Dream and it was posted by Red Moldy Hat 7 days ago. Right? I tend to have vivid dreams, so it wasn't so out of the ordinary. I had this dream. But this one was different. I never believed in dreams having meaning before, but I think I've changed my mind. I woke up in a hospital, but that wasn't the thing that concerned me. I didn't wake up in a bed or on the floor. I woke up sitting straight up in a hallway, like I was mid stride. I heard voices down the hall. I couldn't make anything out, but my instincts told me to follow them. As I followed them, they led me to a surgery room, but instead of people, there was a radio. It was playing the voices. I turned it off. I kept walking and I found a man. He was wearing scrubs. He looked about mid to late 20s, and he was eating a sandwich. My brain told me to run, but my legs didn't move. He looked me dead in the eye. He had no irises. He said in the most robotic, choking voice I've ever heard, "Hey kiddo, you lost?" Then I woke up. It was 4 a.m. I didn't go back to sleep. um, hmm, this one's kind of long. This one was called this words. That'd be nice. My first ever big thunderstorm was posted 11 days ago by Round Applications 897. I've always been scared of thunderstorms ever since my parents brought me to a reenactment of one of the worst tornadoes in the world when I was young. I always thought that a thunderstorm would have a big tornado ever since, so I'm so lucky that I live in an area that never gets hit by big thunderstorms. One day, me and my brother got my dad to bring us to the movies to watch the new World War Z movie, where we, we cannot speak today. We were both very young and couldn't see it on our own, and luckily we didn't. Before we left, the sky was very dark, darker than I had ever seen, but I was too excited to pay any more attention to it. I thought the movie was scary, and my heart was racing. It happened during the plane crash near the end of the movie. I was sunk down in my seat, a scared little kid, when the screen and the lights all went out. My heart sank, and for a second I thought it was just the projector messing up, but then the staff came in. We were told that we had lost power and should take shelter in the main entrance. I guess the movie was so loud none of us heard it, but when we all entered the lobby, we could only see a gray blanket of rain. Every few seconds, a big flash of light would light up only a few feet ahead of us. There was so much wind that anything still outside was at an angle. That was one of the very few times I've heard the wind howl that loud. My brother and father are not as scared of storms as I am, which for some reason made me even more scared because it felt a bit crazy for being the because I felt a bit crazy for being the only one this worried. I probably thought they didn't know what could happen in a storm this big. I was shaking a bit when my dad suggested running out to grab the car and pick us up at the entrance. That snapped me out of my trance a bit, and he was already heading out for the car. I stood there for what felt like forever, just waiting to see the headlights of our car with my brother. I never got a good look at his face to see what he was doing or feeling, but I think he was more calm than me because I never heard a noise from him. After seeing person after person go for their car and others driving by, I saw our car. We both ran for the car and the rain pelted us. We were drenched and soaked by the time we made it to the car, even though it was just a few steps away. My dad asked if we were okay and we said yes, but nothing else, I think. By that time, I was just trying to calm down and tune things out. The drive home wasn't great either. During the drive, I guess my brother thought it would be funny to mess with me. He every so often started to taunt me, saying things like, "Hey, look outside. It's not that bad. Why are you so scared?" While rolling down my window, letting me get wet, scaring the shit out of me more. Eventually, my dad told my brother to stop and leave me alone. I did look outside every so often to see pools of water that would sink your car. Cars with all the lights on so we could see them. Trees and power lines shaking in the wind. I eventually stopped looking and just looked at my feet, trying to tune out the noise. All I could hear was rain pelting our car and the windshield wipers moving as fast as they could. There's other small things that happened, but I don't want to make this too long. Uh, when we got home, 25 minutes had passed from what is usually a 10-minute drive. The storm was clearing up, and we say that our street got hit hard. Our neighbors have 3 giant trees in the front yard, and one fell and completely blocked the road. One of our neighbors used a chainsaw to cut it, and their car to move a bit of it so cars could pass. I already inside in bed crying and holding my stuffed animals, thinking whatever kept us from in a getting stuck or a tornado hitting us. So there's something. I mean, it sounded more like maybe not a tornado, but maybe like a hurricane, possibly. It's possible. Okay, this one's kind of long as well. This one is called The Man in the Street by Responsible Bird at 942, and it was posted 12 days ago. I was in my living room watching TV. It was midnight when I decided to go to sleep. Right? I feel so bad. Yeah. And plus, he was just a little kid, too. So that would scare the shit out of any little kid. Um, it was midnight when he decided to go to sleep. I turned off the TV and started walking towards an open door to the balcony where my cat was. I had to get him inside and close the door, but as soon as I reached the door, I saw a black figure just standing outside on the street. My heart started beating fast and I was shaking. I just had that uneasy feeling that this is not normal and I'm in danger. The figure didn't move. I could tell it's a man, but I couldn't see his face. I was just staring at him for probably 3 to 4 seconds before he started to walk. He was moving down the street towards me. He was walking really slow, and he was turning around, looking all around himself, walking a bit forward, then backwards. He didn't look drunk. That was the scary part. I went full panic mode. I grabbed my cat and closed the door. I put my cat on the half in the words, damn it. I put my cat on the balcony. On the balcony. Fuck's sake. I put my cat on the hallway where in my head he was safe. I stayed in the living room, still looking out the balcony door, but I was hiding behind a wall. I saw the man walk very slowly past my house, and he was walking backwards. He was looking all around him. He was looking all around himself, but I saw he was gazing at me as well. He was bald and wearing a blue t-shirt. I have never seen him before, which is kind of strange because I live in a small town where you know pretty much everyone. When he passed my house, I ran to my room, which is a floor higher than the living room. I looked out the window and saw him back where he was standing the first time I saw him. He was walking in the opposite direction. I was watching him and he stopped residential at some residential blocks. I thought he lived there. There are a lot of new people living there, so I don't know all of them. Some people that live there come out at night to smoke. I thought he was one of them, but I was wrong. He didn't enter. He was just looking at the entrance. He took out his phone and turned on his flashlight to see better, and then he left. This whole thing made me think about another creepy thing that happened not long ago. It was nighttime and I was watching TV. The door to the hallway was open. Right outside are some stairs, and there's a front door to our house. All of a sudden, I heard someone trying to open the front door very aggressively. My heart stopped. My whole family was asleep, but after I brushed it off as my neighbor coming home drunk and mistaking our door for his, since our houses are right next to each other. He comes home drunk very often. So this isn't impossible. But the man I saw tonight makes me question everything. Every night when I'm laying in bed, I hear someone walk very slowly down my street. But I never bothered to look who it is, because I didn't know this man existed yet. And now I know people take night walks, and honestly, that's why I never bothered to look outside to check who was walking before. But this man, there is just something off about him. Seeing him just stand there in the middle of the street, looking at nothing, and then walking backwards and looking everywhere just makes my skin crawl. My mind is coming up with all sorts of um, explanations. Like he's a burglar, just eyeing the houses he's going to rob next, or he's a murderer looking for his next victims. But I know I'm not supposed to judge that quick. I'm just really scared. Right? English is very hard sometimes. I'll probably just read one more because, to be honest, I am not feeling that well, as you could probably tell in my voice. So, okay, this one's a long one. So, um, this one will probably be good to leave off on. Yeah, that too. Gonna scare you guys too bad. This one is called First Experience, posted Bry Bry 8 15 days ago. Well, it all started on one day when I was burning garbage. In my area, we're allowed to. Maybe 30 minutes in, I started hearing footsteps and feeling like someone was watching me in the woods behind the fireplace. The only thing close to me are a cemetery and the house about a mile away, so no one should be back there. So I walked into the woods with my gun for safe measures. I walked around for 45 minutes looking, but nothing, so I went back to burning. Then I heard the footsteps and the feeling of being watched again, so I went back again. Not too long later, my mom stopped to give me something. She couldn't find me, so she called out. I walked back out of the woods. She asked what I was doing, and I told her. I asked if she felt the same. She said no, so at this point, I thought I was going crazy. So I tried to finish burning quickly, but by the time I was done, it was 9. Then I went to the side of the shed to grab something. Can't remember what it was. LOL. That's when I seen it about 20 feet away from the shed are 5 trees, are 5 trees. And the middle tree I seen 2 elderly people. Excuse me. Look like mid to late 80s. Up the tree standing on branches. The woman was covered by darkness so I couldn't see her too well. However, the male I could see his nearly foot-long fingernails and half his face but both his eyes because of light posts. As soon as I seen it, I froze for a moment wondering what the heck was going on. After what felt like forever, I just ran back into my garage where my mom was on the phone with a family member. So I sat next to her, contemplating what I had just seen, not realizing I was awfully talking out loud. That's when my mom asked what I was talking about, and I told her. And after I was done, we talked a little. Then I seen the male staring at me from the corner of my garage door window. To give details, the window is 6.5 to 7 feet high. I then ran into the house without uttering a word into my kitchen. When I then seen him through the window in the kitchen walking across the yard. That's when I had enough and walked to an area with no windows and just curled up. That's when my mom called one of her friends to come over. Mind you, at this point, it's 11 on a weekday. She came over and made me recite a few sayings, and she said some things. As soon as she was done, I felt a wave of calm wash over me with chills. When she went around the inside of the house, I would see sheets of light go around the areas. She did mainly doorways and certain rooms, and after half an hour went by of sitting around after she was done. My mom took her friend back home. While they were gone, I sat in my living room looking all around me. I seen all different color balls of light flying around me. Mind you, I'm colorblind, so I can't fully tell what colors. That went on for another hour before they started disappearing, until there was one left. It then flew towards me and disappeared. Mom's friend said it was my great grandfather, and was that it's oh my god, words, and that and that was it. Nothing has happened since then. Well, goddamn, that's got me curious. Like, what what were those 2 older people like? What were they? That's the thing that's getting me right now. Like, were they ghosts? Were they like evil spirits? What were they? Hmm. Right? Like, what the fuck was that thing? I mean, long as what do you say, toenails? Ooh. I wish you would have described what the face looked like. That would have gave so much details. Mm, I don't know. I mean, he said uh beyond the woods is a cemetery and then a house a mile down. So it could have been something in the cemetery, possibly. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, definitely could use some toenail clippers. Tell you that much. Um, I'll tell maybe one story from personal experience. Yeah, I know, right? I'd hate to live in the middle of nowhere. Actually, I did live in the middle of nowhere before. It was scary as shit. Um, this actually happened recently. Um, so I just got done playing League with my friends, and I just got done playing League with my friends, and mind you, it's like close to 1 a.m. at this point. So after I get off the computer, I instinctively go to the bathroom because, I mean, you try holding your pee for over 2 hours. Shit. And as soon as I open my bedroom door, I swear I think I hear the TV on. Like, no lie. I swear I hear the TV on. But I look down the stairs, the TV's off. The entire downstairs is pitch black. I check my bedroom. It's dark as shit. And the door's closed. My little brother is already fast asleep. Everybody is basically asleep in the house already. So I basically just brush it off like I'm just tired because I mean it's almost 1 a.m. for fuck's sake. And then when I get into bed, I hear something that sounds like walking upstairs. And mind you, there's only 2 floors in this house. And there's also an attic and a basement. So when I hear that, I instinctively think maybe it's a chunky raccoon. I mean, they can still climb, right? I mean, they may be chunky, but they can still climb. Or maybe it's a chunky squirrel. Possible. I just pretty much brush it off thinking that, eh, I'm just tired. So, and then when I talked to my mom the next morning, she was just like, were you downstairs? I was just like, no. So she told me the time when she heard a noise. I was just like, I was playing League. I had my headphones on. I didn't hear shit. And she goes, I swear I heard walking downstairs or in the hallway. I was just like, wasn't me. The first time I got up to go to the bathroom was mid, mid game. And then another time before I went to bed, which was close to 1. just like, no, it was like around so and so time as well. And I was like, yeah, my ass was asleep. My ass was asleep. Was not me. So, house might be haunted, but don't know. Yeah, I know. Let's hope it was a chunky raccoon. I seen a chunky squirrel today. That was fun. But I think I'm probably gonna end stream right now, just so I could, you know, rest up and take some medicine. I will be streaming tomorrow morning. I will try to stream like probably Legends of Runeterra tomorrow. Um, so I'll be streaming that tomorrow morning. But have a good night, guys.